Good morning, madam.
Right, okay. So today we are going to start C decision making. So I think last week, at the end of the last week lecture, I gave you a brief introduction, very brief introduction on what you mean by C decision making. Again, I like to say that these are like with the fundamentals, right? So you already covered fundamental part 1 and 2, right? So along with the fundamentals, C decision making is again very important. So whatever the program you are writing, so the C decision making is mostly you have to apply in your code. So therefore, there are several types of decision making C statements. So according to your context, according to your application, according to the program that you was appointed to, right? So you should select the correct one, most appropriate one, right? So in order to do so, you need to know what are the different types and how we can apply them. So we'll go through the lecture and understand what do you mean by actually C decision making. Right. So decision-making statements, right? Decision-making statements, or else we call them as conditional statements. Tavat conditional statements, right? So see, conditional statements allow you to make a decision based upon the result of a condition, right? So this type of a structure requires that the programmers indicate several conditions for evaluation within a program. Right? For example, so I told you that day, right? So if you obtain C grade, right, for the IA 1206 or computer programming subject, so then you will pass the IA 1206, right? Right. Or else, if you obtain C or more, right, C or more, you will pass. Otherwise, you will fail. So that is a condition, right? අපි කියන අපි condition එකක් දානවා. Condition එක තමයි whether your mark is greater than 50 or not, right? Greater than 50 or not. If your mark is greater than 50, right, you will pass the exam IA 1206, otherwise fail. Right. So that is a very simple example where I can introduce this conditional statement, decision making. The decision you are about to take a decision whether you are pass or not based on the condition whether the mark is 50 or more or less. Mark එක 50 හෝ 50ට වැඩිද අඩුද? ඒ condition එක මත පදනම් වෙලා ඔයා decision එකක් ගන්න. Right. So this type of structure requires that programmers indicate several conditions, right? So how comes the several conditions? So here I gave you only one condition. If mark is greater than 50, so you will pass, otherwise you will fail. So there's only one condition there. Then you can, as the second statement say, you can introduce more conditions. What are the more conditions? We'll say if the mark is 80 or more, if the mark is 80 or more, you will get A. So I'm giving very rough explanation, right? Else, if the mark is 70 or more, right? 70, that means greater than 70 but less than 80, you will get B plus. Else if the mark is greater than 60 but less than 70, then you will get B. Else if the mark is greater than 50 but less than 60, you will get C likewise, right? So then there are several conditions, right? 80ට වඩා වැඩි නම් A. 80වත් 70වත් අතර නම් B. Right? Likewise, so there are several conditions. Based on several conditions, you are about to take several decisions. Right? So that's why they are saying this type of structure requires that the programmers indicate several conditions for evaluation within a program. So I gave you a simple example. So where all of you are familiar with. Right? The statements will get executed only if the condition becomes true. And optionally, alternative statement or set of statements will get executed if the condition becomes false. Right? If the condition is true, condition එක හරිනම්, right? There are set of statements that will execute. Condition එක හරිනම් executable statements කීපයක්. For example, if the mark is greater than 80, you will get A. Mark එක 80ට වඩා වැඩි නම් you will get A කියන statement එක executed. එහෙම නැත්නම්, so what if the mark is less than 80, right? Then you will get B or whatever. එහෙම නෙමෙයි නම් වෙන එකක් execute වෙනවා. Right? So that's why they are saying the statements will get executed only if the condition becomes true. And optionally, alternative statements or set of statements will get executed if the condition becomes false. Right. So under the conditional statements in C language use following the decision-making statements. Right. Mainly there are if statement, go to statement and switch. Mainly there are three. ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් තුනයි. If, go to switch. Right. Under if there are several subcategories like if statement, if else statement, nested if else statement, else if statement. Under this there are few. So other than that, go to and switch are there. Most common is actually if. All these variations along with if is the most common conditional statement. Then switch. Right. Go to is rarely used. Go to පාවිච්චි වෙන ටිකක් ගොඩක් අඩුවේ. If තමයි most common, next switch. Right. So now we are coming to the first statement, see if statements. See if. If statements in C is used to control the program flow based on some condition, it is used to execute some statement code block if the expression is evaluated true. Otherwise, it will get skipped. This is simplest way to modify a control of a program. Anyway, there are 4 different types of statement in C. Different types are simple if, then if else, then nested if else, then else if ladder. Right? So from this 4, we are more interested on simple if else, nested if else. Right? Okay. Now we are coming to the basic format, right? Basic format. So that means we are coming to the first thing, simple if, right? Simple if statement, right? The basic format if statement is if this is the expression, or here we are putting our condition, right? Here we are putting our condition if, and so then within the curly brackets, so if this particular condition is true, what will happen? For example, I'm writing if mark is greater than or equal 50, right? You will pass the exam. No, right? You will pass the exam. right? So if the mark is greater than or equal 50, then so we are printing the statement, you will pass the exam, right? So here now you will understand. So this is the first case actually. Make my first case. So that means simple if statement, right? Under the simple if statement, students, no else part is there, right? So that means if the mark is 50 or greater than or 50, so if this condition is true, what will happen is within the curly brackets. If this condition is wrong, what to do is not mentioned here. Condition එක හරි නම් true නම් කරන්න ඕන දේ තමයි මේ curly brackets ඇතුළේ තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි මෙතන නැහැ condition එක වැරදි නම් මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනි කියලා. So that is the basic idea of the basic if statement. First category එකේ meaning එක එකයි. Right? Only if condition is true, what you have to do. That is only indicated in the simple basic if statement. Right? So here they are saying statement N can be a statement or set of statements, and if the test expression is evaluated to true, the statement block will be executed or it will get skipped. So then you might think that what will happen if the condition is not true? For example, if the mark is 48, right? So if the mark is 48, they come here, the condition is wrong. So then what the compiler is doing? Compiler skip everything. Compiler එක skip කරනවා මේ හැමදේම. Compiler එක මෙතනට එනවා. Right? So it checks whether the mark, now the mark is 48. Now compiler check whether the mark is greater than or equal 50. No, the condition is wrong. Then what the compiler do? Compiler will skip everything and come here. Skip කරනවා මේ ඔක්කොම. Compiler will skip this one, this one, this one. And come here. There may be any other code blocks are here. So the compiler will come there. So it totally ignore this thing. Because if the mark is 48, if the mark is less than 50, we didn't specify what to do. So then whenever the condition is false, it skip everything here. That is the basic idea of simple if. Example. We'll go for an example. Right. So now students, can you see my C compiler? Can you see the C compiler screen? Hello students, can you see my C compiler screen? No, madam. Can't you see my C compiler screen?
No, madam.
Then right. Okay. So now this is one of the simple code, right? So only the required contents are here. So you can remember hash include stdio.h, the header file. Then void main, this is the main method. So within the main method, within the curly braces, right? Within these curly braces, curly braces. So when you highlight a one curly bracket, so the corresponding ending bracket is also automatically highlighted, right? Make a pennane scope, right? Sampurna main method එක scope එක මේ පෙන්නන්නේ. මේකේ එක curl bracket එකක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ highlight කරාම automatically ඒකේ ending bracket එක highlight වෙනවා. Right? Because you will misunderstand here also there's an additional opening and closing brackets. මෙතනක් තියෙනවා එහෙම එකක්. right? This is for the if statement, right? But this is the main method, right? So within this main method, you can see two variables have been declared and initialized. Two variables, A and B. A and B both are integer variables, right? In A equals 15 and in B equals 2. Both are integer. A can 15, B can 2. Right now they are checking whether B is greater than A. If B is greater than A, printf B is bigger. B A ට වඩා වැඩි නම් B bigger කියලා print කරන්න. Right? If this condition is not true, for example, if let's say B is not greater than A, so what to do කියන එක? So if this condition false, what compiler do is not mentioned here because this is a very simple statement. So let's compile and see. Now it's so now what I am doing, I put for B, I put 22 and now A is 50. Now you can see B is 22 and A is 50. So since now we can understand the condition is true, right? අපි දන්නවා condition එක හරි. එතකොට හරි නම් ඒක print වෙන්න ඕන. So I will share my console with you. Now I think you can see the console, right? Command prompt, right? So here you will see that you can see B is greater. B is greater. So what if we change the program, right? What if we change the program? Now B is 2 and A is 15. Again, I'm going to compile and again, I'm going to run. Right? So we'll share the output. Now you will see nothing is printed here. Right, nothing is printed here. B is greater කියන එක දැන් මෙතන print වෙලා නැහැ. මොකද condition එක වැරදි. Because so in our program condition is wrong. So therefore nothing is printed. It automatically skip everything within the C block. C block එකේ තියෙන ඔක්කොම skip කරනවා. Right? So basically that is the idea of simple if statement, right? That is the idea of simple if statement. Right. So that's one other program. This is another program. So now you can see it. Right, this is another program. So where header file is there within the main method. So they have initialized, they are declared a number, not initialized, declared a number called int number. Now they are going to use scanf and printf, scanf along with the printf. So what is the use of scanf, students? What is the use of scanf? Oh, scanf වල use එක මොකක්ද? Last week we learned. What is? So printf is there to print whatever. So then what is the use of scanf? To read the use inputs, right? To read the use inputs. අපි input කරන number එක කියවන එක තමයි scanf එකේ වෙන්නේ, right? So okay, so let's compile and see what is the output. Right? So I compile. So before go to the result, so int number, there's an integer variable is initialized. Now the program allows program asks type a number. So program tells us to type a number on the console. And then program by itself read the number. And next, now there's the condition statement here, right? Condition is there. Program check whether the number is greater than 0. Whether the number is greater than, here you can see there's a comment here, right? There's a comment here. In the comment, what they are saying, check whether the number is negative number. Negative the balano. Right? So if it is negative num. If it is negative, then convert into positive. Right? If the number is negative, right? If the number is negative, what it do? It convert into positive. Negative the kila check karana. Negative now convert karna positive. Then print the number. Right? So once again, let's compile. Then let's run. So we'll share the screen, output screen with you. Now type a number in the console. Now you should see. Now the program asks us to type a number. So let's say I type -2. When I press enter, now they are saying the absolute value is 2. I type -2, but they are giving us the positive value or the absolute value. Right? Negative එක positive කරලා තමයි දුන්නේ. Right? So now again, let's once again compile and run the program. So I compile and again I run the program. So again, I will share the console with you. Right? So now I will give a positive number. Right? Now this is the console screen. I will give a positive number 5. Can you see? When I give number 5, there is no output here because program check for only negative numbers. Right? The program checks only for negative numbers, not for the positive number. If the positive number gives, if we give the positive number, for example, 5, it checks the condition check whether 5 less than 0. No, the condition violate. So therefore, it skip everything. So that is the idea of basic if statement, right? Right. So now we are coming to the second one, if else statement. If else second. Right, if else statement in C is also used to control the program flow based on some condition. Right? Then condition program flow but the only difference is it is used to execute some statement code block if the expression is evaluated true, otherwise execute the else statement code block. So if the condition is true, it will execute whatever the statement, but if the condition is false, then it will execute whatever listed under the else. Else යටතේ list කරලා තියෙන ටික run වෙනවා. සම්පූර්ණ code block එක skip කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right? It is not going to skip the whole code block, but if the condition is false, it jump to the else and then execute whatever the statement listed under the else. This is the basic format of if else statement. Right. If This is what happened, right? This is actually what is supposed to be, right? They check if mark is greater than equal 50, then print pass. But if the condition false, then print fail. Condition like a false now, Varadina, for example, if the mark is 48, so then the compiler come here, then the compiler come here and print fail. So in the previous case, if the mark is 48, I am getting a direct message, madam. Can we change that statement size? Number equals minus number, for example, but so if example, that means in the previous example, can we change this sign? Number minus number. No, I think I'm getting a direct message asking for the previous simple if statement, I think. So can we change number equal minus number sides? Now, because so initially in initial case, if we give a negative number, if I get minus 5, if minus 5 minus 5 means plus 5. So then the code statement should be number equal minus number. So I'm giving an answer for the direct question I getting from one student. So she's asking whether can we change the size? No, because I need to convert minus 5 to plus 5. So in order to convert minus 5 to plus 5, what I have to do? Minus multiplied by minus 5. So then only I will get 5. So the size of the statement cannot be changed. It should be number equal minus number, right? Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So for here, if mark is 48, in the previous case now, 48 now, right? No, the condition is wrong. So then it omit the whole code block. Somebody code block omit kara. But now here, if the mark is 48, right? If the mark is 48, so then it check here, no, this part violates. So therefore, it omits this code block, right? Omit karana. So go here, right? For example, it omits. So check whether it comes here. It comes here whether 48. No. So then it omits sampurna make uda part commit kala method. So it comes to the else part and print fail. Right? So that is the difference between the previous case and the current case. So this is a very simple example for if-else statement. This is a example if-else statement. Right? Please note that here you need to put semicolons, right? Statement semicolon right? So I didn't consider too much about them. So here, right. Now again, we have to go for an example. Right. So here, this is the example number 1 under the if-else. Right. So here also, So same code which we have experienced previously under the if, for example, this code, make code ekama thamai. So here they ask user to input both A and B. A, B were the values user input karani kiyena. So here it is hard coded here. Already within the program, what is A, what is B is hard coded. But here user is supposed to enter values for A and B. Right? User is supposed to enter value A and B, and then whether they check whether A is greater than B. If yes, they say A is greater, else they say B is greater. Right here. So user is please enter value for A, then user should enter a value for A. Then please enter value for B. B should be enter. Enter the value for B, then user should enter the value for B. Then program check if A greater than B. If yes, it print A is greater, otherwise else. Now you can see the else block, print B is greater, right? So now we'll compile and run. So share the screen, output screen. Right. So here now they're asking please enter the value for A. I'm giving 2. Now they're asking, please enter the value for B. I'm giving 4. Now what they're saying, B is greater. B is greater, right? So again, I will compile and run. Again, I will compile and run the code. Then we'll share the console with you. So here, again, they're asking, please enter the value for A. Six. B, 2. So now they are saying A is greater. Right now, program based on the values that we are putting for A and B. Right? So the program output, whether B is greater or A is greater. So if the condition false, then else part will execute. If the condition true, the if part will execute. Right? So that is the basic difference between if statements, simple if statements, and if else statements. So I think there's another example I'm having. We'll see that also. Again, the number, whether the number is negative or positive, the same example which we experience here. Right here, same example. Come example. So you will experience here how same scenario, same question. How can we convert it to? How can we write using if statements, simple if statements, and how can we address it within if else statement. එකම ප්‍රශ්නේ අහලා තියෙන විදිහට උත්තර දෙන විදිහ තමයි මේ පෙන්නන්නේ. Right? If they want in form of simple if, then we can give it as simple if. If you want it in form of if else statement, then we will give it as if else statement. Right? මතක ඇති. So you should remember that. So here in the simple if case, so we should enter negative number. Then within the program, it will automatically convert to positive and give us what is the absolute value. But if by any chance, if we have input positive number input karana, output no output will be given because this condition is false. But here, under the else, more feasibility is there. User friendly. So in this code actually, right, in this code, if we have, for example, if we have by mistake, if we have input positive number, program is never giving us an output. 5 input karana kisima output ekak naha. So then user te kisima information ekak naha. What happened? Sometimes he may accidentally input positive number. right? නමුත් output එකක් නැහැ ඒක user friendly ගතිය අඩුයි. So there it is less user friendly, but here it is more user friendly and indicate whether user has inputted a negative number or positive number. මේක ඊට වඩා user friendly. මොකද වැරදිච්ච අවස්ථාවේ අපිට කියන මේකයි උනේ කියලා. Right? So if I compile it and run it, so share again the output. So now you know actually what should be output එක මොනවා වෙන්න ඕනද කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා, right? So enter the number, right? Enter the number. So here, right, if I enter 6, now it says the number is positive, right? It says the number is positive. Again, and go and compile and run, right? Right. If I enter -6 -6, so it will show me the number is negative now, right? So now it's giving us if the condition is true, what you have to do. If the condition is false, what you have to do, right? So that is basically the idea of if else, if else. Now you know what is simple if, and also you know what is if else. Now we are going to the next part. C, nested if else. So what do you mean by, so C, nested if else, right? Nested if else statements play an important role in C programming, right? Nested if else statement play an important role in C programming. So it means you can condition, it means you can use conditional statement inside another conditional statement. Nested. So now you have a new word called nested. Right? So it means you can use conditional statement inside another conditional statement. Condition එකක් ඇතුලේ තව condition එකක්. We'll see. This is the basic structure. If I write a simple program here, right here, right? If my usual example, if mark This is a simple example, right? So don't think too seriously. Right? But what happened? If the final paper mark is greater than or equal 80, right? This should be capital B, right? 80. And also, if the assignment mark is greater than or equal 50, so you will get grade A. Otherwise, you will get grade B. Final paper mark 80ට වඩා වැඩි වෙලා assignment mark එකත් 50ට වඩා වැඩි වුණොත් තමයි ඔයාට grade A එන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් එන්නේ grade B. So here you will see within this if statement, right? Within this if statement, may if statement එක ඇතුලේ තව if statement එකක් යනවා. Right? You will observe within this main if statement, right? Within this main if statement, there is another if statement is going on. මේ ප්‍රධාන if එක ඇතුලේ යනවා. So that type of situation we call it as nested if, right? Nested if, right? So the basic format මෙතන දෙන්නේ මේ විදිහට, right? The basic format of nested if else statement is like this. So we will go to an example and clarify actually what is this. Example. Madam. Sorry, muted, right? Okay, sorry. So here, this main program, so it's again very simple program, include header file is there. So this is the main method. This is the scope of the main method. So within this main method, two variables are there, x and y. The two variables, integer type variables, has been declared and initialized. Right? Declared and initialized. X is equal 20 and y is equal 30. Right? X is equal 20 and y is equal 30. Right? So here now you can see this is, so here you have a if statement. So within that if statement, right? Inside that if statement, there's another if statement. Right? So that is why we are telling that nested if. Right? Nested if. So what they're checking is if x is greater than 20, sorry, if x is exactly equal to 20, now you will experience this. This is the first time that you will experience this. Two equal signs. Two equal signs. Right? In mathematics students, සාමාන්‍ය අපි maths වල අපි දැන් කරන ඕනේ maths, pre-calculus, vectors and matrices ගොඩක් දේවල් කරන ඕනේ. In maths, generally in maths, අපි කිව්වොත් මෙහෙම. A equals 50, 30. What is the meaning of this? A සමානයි 30යි. ඒ කියන්නේ A කියන්නේ 30යි. in maths. A equals 30, right? But in the programming, so let's say the C programming, right? We are saying first we initialize A, right? Sorry, declare A, and then as the next step, we write it like this: A equals 30. What is the meaning of this, student? Right? What is the meaning of this? This is in our maths. In our maths class. Right? Within our maths class, A equals 30 කියන්නේ A සමානයි 30 කියන එක. A equals 30 කියන එක. Right? So here in the programming class, what do you mean by here? In the programming class. What do you mean by here? A equals 30. I get a message? Yeah. So that means here we are assigning 30, the value of 30 to A. Right? So here this does not mean that A equals 30. Right? So A is a variable. Right? So you need to imagine A as a bucket. Right? A as a bucket. Right? A කියන්නේ හරියට bucket එකක් වගේ. දැන් මෙතනදී අපි කරන්නේ, right? A is like a bucket. Right? Here what we are doing is we are inserting 30 to this bucket. මේ bucket එක ඇතුළට 30 දාන එක කරන්නේ. So this doesn't mean A equals 30. A සමානයි 30 කියන එක නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ. So now we are putting the value of 30 to this bucket. Right? So what will happen? Look at the වෙන්නේ. Right? What will happen next? If we say like this, A equals 50. Then මොකද වෙන්නේ? Right? Now what happened? So now we remove 30. අපි bucket එකේ behind කරලා. So we are putting 50 inside the bucket. So actually, students, this does not mean A equals 30 or A equals 50. So A is a variable, so that means temporary location in the memory, temporary location in our memory, in the computer memory, where we time to time, according to the requirement of the program, time to time, we are putting some value to the bucket. Right? But in the programs also, we need to match. For example, මේ maths class එකේ වෙන දේම අපේ programming වල කරන්න ඕනේ. So that means we need to say A is equal 30. In order to do that, so this is how we are doing that. මේ කරන විදිය තමයි මේක. So instead of one single equal sign, we need to put two equal signs. මේ සමානයි කියන concept එක දෙන්න, in order to give the equal concept, we are using two equal signs, specifically මේ වගේ condition එකක් ඇතුළත. X 20ට සමානද? whether x equal 20 කියන එක දෙන්න. If you put only one equal sign, so then compiler will give you an error. You by yourself you can check. එතනදී අඳුරන්නේ. Right? So specifically this happens with especially under these conditional statements, right? In order to check whether x equal 20, මෙතන කියන්නේ මේ assigning නෙමෙයි. Right? We can use, I'm getting a direct message, man. We can use logical operator for first if. I can't understand the question. What first if? Right? Anyway, right? Okay, so x exactly equal 20, y exactly equal 30. දැන් මෙතන කියන්නේ, so from the outer code block, outer if එකේ යහන්නේ x 20ට සමානයි නා. So then it goes to the inner if, right? It check the condition. අපේ already ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා x කියන variable එකේ දාලා තියෙන 20, right? In the x variable we have put 20, in y variable we have put 30. Now they are checking whether if x exactly equal 20, yes, yes tuna, then it goes to inside whether y exactly equal 30, yes, then it should print the value X is 20 and Y is 30. So I will comment it like this. Do like this first. Comment. Right, I will give a paragraph comment. Paragraph comment එක මතකයි. Right now, this whole block is a paragraph comment. So compile and run. We'll share the output with you. Right. So now I am again getting the direct message for the person who's asking the message. Yes, you can do like this, but here the way you are asking, I can't explain the nested if concept. So who's asking Madhushan? So in my mama then explain now I'm explaining nested if that matter nested if කියන concept එක පුතා මේ විදිහට දුන්නම මට explain කරන්න බෑ. Right? So අහන්නේ if x exactly equal to and logical operators පාවිච්චි කළා and නෙමෙයි එතන logical operators පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ and sign දෙකක්. So y exactly equal 30. Yes, you can do like this, but since I am explaining the nested if concept, so I am not going to this one. Otherwise, this is okay, right? Okay, Makshan, right? Right. So value of x is 20 and value of y is 30. Now you can see the output here, right? Condition dekama 100. Right? So value of x is 20 and value of y is 30. So we'll do like this. I'm going to edit the program. And the program I edit karna. Right. So I'm putting x equal to. Then I am going to compile and run. So and share the output with you. Nothing has printed. කිසිම දෙයක් print වෙලා නැහැ. Why? කිසි දෙයක් නැත්තේ. Right. If you go back to the program, so first it check in the outer block it check if x exactly equal 20. Then අපේ දැන් x එක 2යි. එතනින්ම condition එක වර්ධය යනවා එළියට. සම්පූර්ණ code block එක මෙයා ආමිත් කළා එළියට යනවා. So again I am putting 20 here and for y I put 3, not 30 but 3. Again I compile. Wait. Again I compile and run. So I'll show you my output. Nothing is here. Again, why nothing is here? Because in our program, the condition, although the outer condition is true, but the inner condition is false. Because within the inner if, they are checking whether y is exactly equal 30. But actually, it's not like that. Because now the y is 3. Y 30, y 29. Right? So therefore, it is not going to print this value. So this is if එකක් ඇතුලේ if එකක්. So this is the concept of nested if. So not only one if. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතයි if එක දාන්න පුළුවන් කියලා එකක් ඇතුලේ. No. You can go for several ifs. ගොඩක් ifs දාන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Okay, that is the meaning of nested if. Right. Now we are going to the third one. The third. See else if. දැන් අපි මුලින් කරා simple if. The first one is simple if. Then if else. Then nested if. So the last one. Else if. What do you mean by else if? මොකක්ද else if? Else if statements in C is like another if condition. It's used in a program when if statements having multiple decisions. Else if statement in C is like another if condition. It is used in a program when it has multiple decisions. For that one also, I am using my usual example. බලන්න same example, same scenario එක මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට simple if එකටත් දුන්නා, if else එකටත් දුන්නා, nested if එකටත් දුන්නා, else if එකට දෙනවා. Right? So if let's say right, anyway, finally I can write, but space is not enough. So this is the structure. If mark is greater than 80, grade A. Else if mark, if mark is greater than 70 but less than 80, 70ට සමානයි හෝ වැඩි නමුත් 80ට අඩු. එහෙනම් B. Else if mark is greater than or equal 60 but less than 70, then B minus. Likewise, so this is called the else if statement. Several decisions are there, right? එකක් ඇතුළේ nested if නෙමෙයි. if එකක් ඇතුළේ අපි fair නෙමෙයි. But so C is like another if condition. If used in a program, if statements are multiple decisions. There are decisions for the field. Right. Yeah, another question coming, nested if else use karana use karna, right? In the nested, that means in the previous scenario, nested if else use karana prashnayak naha, but I didn't use it because you will get problem. Otherwise, within the nested if also you can use else, right? It doesn't matter here. Else if within the nested if else if else විතරයි. But here you can see else if. අන්තිමට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට else එකකින් ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ කිසිම දෙයකට අහු වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් else print grade equals C. Likewise. Example. Right here. This is an example. Same scenario, same thing which we have done here. අපි කරපු එකම දේ මෙතනදිත් අපි කතා කරනවා. So no, this one. මේ same code එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැක්කා මම simple if වලටත් ගෙනාවා and if else වලටත් ගෙනාවා දැන් else if වලටත් ගෙනවා. Right now, so header file is there within the main menu, within the main method, right? Two variables have been declared, two integer variables have been declared A and B, right? Then program asks the user to input, please enter the value for A, right? Please enter the value for A, and again please enter value for B. So then it checks if A greater than B, then A is greater than B. If B greater than A, then B is greater than A. Else, මේ දෙකම නැත්තම් both are equal. බලන්න same application එක different conditional statements වල යන හැටි. Right? If A greater than B, then A is greater. Else if අපි check කරන එහෙම නෙමෙයි නම් B greater than A, then we print B is greater than A. Else මේ දෙකම නෙමෙයි නම් එහෙනම් දෙන්න සමයි. So we'll execute and see. I'm going to run it. Now the prompt asked, the console asked, enter value for A. I am inserting 3. Enter value for B. I am inserting 5. What is the answer? B is greater than A. Right? B is greater than A. Again, I am going to re-execute. I am again recompile and run the program. And will share the output with you. Again, this time I will give you A is greater than 4, B is greater than again 4, both are equal. Right? So this is how different conditions are checked within one program. Right? Different conditions are checked within one program. Okay. Right. So with that example, again we go back to the lecture. Right. So now if all these statements, all these condition types I have explained. For me, condition types to my explain earlier. Simple if we looked at, if else we looked at, nested if we looked at, and finally else if we looked at. Right? All four have been looked, and all four are very important when you are writing program. Good programs usually programs definitely at least decision statement so it's a must. Right. So now, so the next type is C go to. Actually, so I told you that C go to is rarely used. So C go to most common decisions statements are if and switch. So after the C go to statements, you will learn about the switch statements. So those are the most common. Out of if and switch, if frequently used. Right? Okay. C go to statement. So this is used to branch unconditionally within a program from one point to another. Right? This is used to branch unconditionally within a program from one point to another. Although it is not good habit to use the go to statement in C, there may be some situations where the use of the go to statement might be desirable. So they are telling, right? Now we done now. In the programming world, good practices, right? So good practices. It's not no and it's not must. Good practices. So can you name one? Within the, so this is the fourth lecture. Up to this lecture, fourth lecture, the lecture good practices. One might can remember when you are learning the constants, right? Constant, one example is coming. Constant variable, yeah, good, right? Constant variables අපි define කරද්දී, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ මතක ඇති අපි normal variable declaration එකේදී, for example, let's say it's an integer variable එකක් නම් int a. But if you want a to be a constant එකක් කරලා තියන්න ඕන නම් throughout the program, what we did, other than int a අපි දානවා const, const, sorry, const දානවා. ඒ දානකොට මේ const කියන එක අපි capital තියනවා. Why? Right, as a good practice දැක්ක ගමන් අපිට පේන්න. Right, at a first glance we will notice this is not just a variable but this is a constant variable, so where it will not change within the program. So those are good, right? So here also they are saying, so under the C go to statement, although it's not a good habit to use the go to statement in C, there may be some situations where the use of go to statement might be desirable. Good practice එකක් නෙමෙයි මේක use කරන්නේ. නමුත් සමහර තැන් තියෙනවා අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙන. Right, the go to statement is used by programmers to change the sequence of execution of a C program by shifting the control to different part of the same program. Right, the go to statement is used by the programmers to change the sequence of execution. Program එක execute වෙන පිළිවෙල වෙනස් කරනකොට by shifting the control to different part of the same program. So we'll see one example. Right, go to syntax go to label, right? So here again particular statements label statement is this is the forward jump of go to statement. So from an example we'll, right, so here again a label is an identifier required for go to statement to place where the branch is to be made. A label is a valid variable name which is followed by a colon. If I go back, label එක ඉන්නේ colon එකකින්. මේ බලන්න label colon. මෙතන go to label එක නෙමෙයි මෙතන කියන්නේ මේ label කියන. Label colon. A label is a valid variable name, a valid variable name within C, which is followed by a colon and is put immediately before the statement, where the control needs to be jumped or transferred unconditionally. Right, so we'll go to an example. So this is rarely used, right? Remember that this is rarely used. But so when you refer the references or when you look at the books, references, you may find go to and then you may be wondering what is this. So that's why I have put the go to the lecture, right? Go to Jamaica. Here comes the go to example. Okay. Right here, this is somewhat different, but just have a look, right? Tingak make a venas, right? Namut make a danagana tiaga, right? So go to also use, now you can see go to G int age kela variable ekak megollo declare karagana tiyenawa. Right? You are eligible, you are not eligible. Right, so then program asks to enter your age, then program scan the age, then they are checking whether the age is greater than 80. Right, age එක 18ට වඩා වැඩි නම්. Right, 18ට වඩා වැඩි නම් go to G. G කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Eligible. එහෙම නැත්නම් not eligible. Right, so the same thing you can write using the if also, but here is another way of writing using the go to. Right here, you have to understand, for example, if you look at a reference book or in the internet, you see like this, some particular name after that colon, label after colon, so that's a label. And this go, so it is coming under this go to statement, right? So this picture, please keep as a rough picture in your mind whenever you find a code like this, because in the program, when you access codes for the program, so there are so many questions. They give a small program and ask you to write the output of the program. What is program එක අදීලා කියනවා මේකේ output එක ලියන්න. Right? ඒ වගේ දේපු program එකක මෙන්න මෙහෙම syntax තිබුණොත් G colon or whatever with the colon, label with the colon, so that is a part of a conditional statement of go to කියන එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැනගෙන තියාගන්න. Right. Right. Next, we are going to the switch. This is also required, right? C switch statements. C switch statements is used when you have multiple possibilities for the statement. Balana. C switch statement is used when you have multiple possibilities for its statements. Switch case will allow you to choose from multiple options, right? Multiple options තියෙනකොට එකක් තෝරගන්න switch එක on කරන්න. Multiple conditions නෙමෙයි. Here not multiple conditions but multiple options, possibilities. So assume that there are set of possibilities. Out of the set of possibilities using the switch statement, you are allowed to select one. So that is the main target of C switch statements. You'll see. This is the basic structure. Switch variable, case 1, execute your code, break, case n, execute your, right. So we'll go to an example and understand it. So before that, after the end of each block, it is necessary to insert a break. We බලන්න හැම block එකකටම පස්සේ you will see break තියෙනවා. Break. Why? Statement, because of programmers do not use the break statement, all consecutive blocks of codes will be executed every case onwards after matching the case block. හිතන්න break දැම්මේ නැත්නම් ඔක්කොම cases ටික execute වෙනවා. අපිට ඕනේ required block එක ගන්න විතරයි. So that's why after each case, so this is case number 1, 2, 3, 4, after case number 8. At the end of each case, break is there. So we will go to an example and clarify what is this. Switch. Right. This is a switch code. Right, this is a switch code. Now here you can see, right, here you can see what? Right, so here is the code. So initially header file is there. Under the main method, now you can see an integer type variable is declared. Integer variable declared. So program asks you to please enter a number between 1 and 5. එකත් පහත් අතර number එකක් insert කරන්න. Please insert a number between 1 and 5. And then program read the number. So here අපි number එක දාගත්තේ මේ අපේ A variable එකට. So we have put the number to this declared variable. So here scan කරපු number එක ඒට දාගන්න. Now switch A. Now you can see that variable is here. So therefore in our variable, then variable එක ඇතුළේ ඉන්නේ 5. Now so within our A variable 5 is there. Because no, let's say we have input 4. So they are asking number between 1 and 5 එකත් පහත් අතරනේ 4. 5 is also there. Doesn't matter. Let's say it's 4. So now A variable, within the A variable එකේ ඉන්නේ 4. 4. Now it goes to first case. it goes to first case. You choose one. No, not the one in case 2 එකටත් යනවා 2 නෙමෙයි 3 නෙමෙයි 4. So we will run and see. Please enter a number between 1 and 5. So that means මෙතන කියන්නේ එකත් පහත් ඇතුළත්, right? Let's say I'm inserting 3. You choose 3. You choose 3. So again, I am executing. I am compile कर run करना. So now I am inserting, let's say 6. Invalid choice. Enter a number between 1 and 5. 1 and 5 enter කරන්න කිව්වම, so when the program asks to input me 1 and 5, I insert 6. So what they are telling? Invalid choice. Enter a number between 1 and 5. Right? Okay. Now again we will go back to the program. Now here, under the switch program, so what are the specialties that you will come across? Right? You will notice, right? Under each switch block, hammer switch block case අවසානයේ you will see this break, 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 break. So shall I do like this? No. I will comment. So I will remove this break. Erase කරන්න මම comment කරනවා. Now I comment these 3 breaks. Again, I compile and run. Share the output with you. I comment 3 breaks. 3 breaks, mama comment kara. Now, so please enter number between 1 and 5. I insert 4. I insert karna 4. Right? You choose 4. Right? You choose 4, but this is based on the compiler. Right? Based on the compiler, sometimes, right? Sometimes, depending on the compiler, for this, it's okay, right? It doesn't matter whether the break, but it's advisable, right? It's advisable in your compiler, you can check. Samahara compilers, right? Breaks hatara comment karate, ivat karate, මෙතන එතන මේ ඔක්කොම cases print වෙනවා. You choose 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is advisable. It is depend on the compiler, but it is advisable to have break under each case, right? So default make a case එකක් හරි ගියේ නැත්නම් default එක print කරනවා invalid choice, enter number between 1 and 5, right? So this is basically the idea of the case statements, right? Idea of the switch case statements, right? For more examples, right? For more examples, you can refer for the internet. So there you will get more simple and also more practical example when you search internet, right? Okay, so that marks the end of the decision making lecture, right? Decision making lecture එකේ අවසානයේ තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැක්කේ. So again, remember that decision making is a very important lecture where, because most of the time when you are writing the program, definitely you need to include decisions, right? So in order to use the decisions, most frequent one is if statement, simple if else, nested if else, and else if. So other than that, you can use switch as well, right? So I'm not expecting to use go to, and also I'm not giving questions under go to statements. So, so go to is included in the lecture for your information only, right? So I think the next lecture is on loops, right? Lecture loops. But there also we will be learning about for loops, while loops. For loops is there, while loop is there, and do while loops likewise. So there also I need to have a continuous lecture to show you what is the difference, because if I start it now, so then it will break. Today I can complete only 4, then rest of the things will continue for the next week. So that is not good, because I need to show you the difference between all the loop cases. So therefore I'm not going to commence it today. So request you to go through this, and you can find new examples from the internet, and please refer the internet, and remember that I will give you via the LMS, I'll send you the message for the first assignment. It's a take-home assignment where you need to do and submit. And again, the first quiz will come recently. Again, I will put the message on the LMS. So therefore, please study the lecture note materials on the LMS uploaded by me. I will upload this lecture as well. So thank you very much for being with the lecture. So now on can send me the messages for the tenders. And those who have sent me the messages, you can leave the lecture, because you will be having another lecture at 10. Thank you.